Hello everyone, I hope you're all well, and thanks so much for all the support on my videos. Thanks for the likes, shares, comments, and really thanks to everybody who supports me through Buy Me a Coffee. Today I'm down on Mount Street in Dublin, and you can see behind me it's the European Commission offices. As you can see below it is the flag of Ukraine. Now a couple of years ago the Ukrainian flag was flown at these offices. I contacted the European Commission offices and asked why a non-EU member flag was flying on a European office and why wasn't the Irish flag flying there as well. And I spoke about the fact that the Yemenis flag, the Iraqi flag, the Afghani flag, the flag of Libya never have been flown at those positions. But yet, here we are, Ukrainian flag. And now, in the last number of days, since the 2-year anniversary of the extension of this war, we've seen the flag flown here at this building. So again, I'll be in contact with the European Commission offices regarding this, but it demonstrates again the propaganda that's come in place from the European Union and here in Ireland too, because yesterday Micheal Martin, the Minister for Defence, Foreign Affairs, and Taoiseach spoke about the 2-year anniversary, and in that video he spoke about a war was not of the Ukrainians choosing. He's right in saying that, because it was 90% of people in Ukraine, when they voted for Zelensky as the leader, as president, was on a platform for peace, getting peace in the Donbass region, but that didn't come to pass. And again, we've seen the push by NATO and the push by Joe Biden and US hegemony to that extent as well. And he also said that the world calls for peace. Interestingly, he said that as well when the Minsk Accords were on the table, the Istanbul agreements were on the table and pulled, and many more peace agreements were reneged upon. And he also said Ireland will not waver in support for Ukraine. And what that means is that we're going to continue to be hammered with sanctions, with the migration disaster, chaos that's created in Ireland because of their policies, where we have over 100,000 Ukrainians now in Ireland. Well over 80% of them are in state-supported accommodation, many more in pledged accommodation through various non-government government organisations. And there's been huge pressures on our public services in the country because of the chaos created with their policies. People are already struggling because of the neoliberal policies, and then the impacts of the sanctions also in the context of the higher energy costs and the explosion of the Nord Stream. But again, this isn't something that Micheal Martin wants to talk about, because he's just a cowardly Taoiseach that bows down to the European elites and the people like Ursula von der Leyen. And he also said that Ireland and the European Union have mounted, since the beginning of the war, a unified and determined response that we will continue. So more money, more weapons, more military-industrial complex, all because of Micheal Martin. And he also spoke about the political, financial, humanitarian, military and diplomatic support. Ireland as a neutral country should be standing up for peace, but Micheal Martin is more interested in playing war games with these warmongers in the European Union, like Ursula von der Leyen, an unelected technocratic leader that's forcing us towards more war instead of fighting for peace. And he also said that Ukraine, while fighting to defend universal values that we in Ireland and the European Union hold dear, dignity, freedom, democracy, equality, rule of law and human rights. It's not ironic when they speak about these universal rights, which don't happen in fact. When you think about democracy and freedom, when you think about the death of US journalists there recently, Gonzalo Lira, when we think about many more people being held, and other journalists are being held as well in Ukraine as well. Opposition parties banned, unions have been banned, businesses have been profiting massively from it, such as BlackRock as well. But again, as I said, the churches, the Orthodox Church has been banned, and Russian books and language as well has been under attack as well. So we've seen this sort of nonsense come again, but this is Micheal Martin again pushing this agenda, a yes man for the European Union, and we've seen it again with his visit coming up on St. Patrick's Day to Canada, where he's due to go to meet Justin Trudeau. Leo Varadkar, of course, is going to the White House to give over the Polish shamrock to genocide stroke explosive Joseph Biden. But now we have Micheal Martin, who's going to meet Justin Trudeau. And Trudeau yesterday was on a big photo opportunity in Kiev with Zelensky, with Ursula von der Leyen also as well yesterday. And of course, if people hark back to the time when a Nazi in Canada was given a standing ovation in the Parliament by all of the members of the Canadian Parliament. So Micheal Martin again will be going off and visiting Trudeau. So I'm sure he'll get a good Céad Míle Fáilte, as we say here in Ireland, which is a very good welcome. So of course they're going to speak about defending democracy. And Victoria Nuland again over the last number of days has been speaking about defending democracy and freedom. And the money is going to go back. That's going to be transferred through the House to Ukraine, the over $60 billion deal. And it's going to supply weapons and jobs back in the United States. That's her focus. To stand up for the free and open international order. Now, in the context of the sanctions, the 13th round of sanctions has just been announced. And it's interesting because the person who's responsible for the sanctions in the European Union is Mairead McGuinness, an Irish commissioner. And as well as that, there is a special sanctions organiser stroke person in charge, and that is a man called O'Sullivan, who's an Irish guy and who has also been previously a European Union ambassador to the United States. So now he is pushing all these sanctions through and going to implode the European economy further. So we haven't done it with 12, so we go for 13. Lucky for some. So unlucky for some, and I'm sure number 13 will really further implode the domestic economies in Europe and domestic industries in Europe. But again, their agenda is to move towards the military-industrial complex and towards a war economy. So rather than standing up for peace, they are pushing more war. And the Irish government as well. And that's going to implode massively on our immigration chaos with so many Ukrainians that have come in over the last couple of years. So as I said, our population has increased by over 2%. We've seen the huge issues with the chaotic policies created by that. Because in terms of the numbers, as I said, it's over 104,000 have come into Ireland since March the 4th, 2022. One of the highest percentages in Ireland. Over 74,000 are in state-supported accommodation. 22,000 are in pledged accommodation that I spoke earlier about through so-called NGOs, government organisations. And the rest are in hotels and B&Bs. Now there are 17,000 currently employed Ukrainians, and in wholesale, transport and various other forms of work and retail as well. And the average wage for the roughly about 20,000 Ukrainians that are in work is €467 per week, which is considerably less, to put it mildly, than the average industrial wage, which stands at a high amount. But in reality, we know the vast majority of people are in abject poverty, and it's really the medium wage you look at. But again, the reason has been to look for cheaper forms of labour for big employers, and this plays into the agenda for the 1% that the Irish political establishment and the European Union represents through the neoliberal policies and trying to get cheaper labour in. Not to mention the other side of it, making huge money for the accommodation providers who, again, like most recently we were up in Rathmines highlighting that issue about those hoteliers that are making an absolute fortune from this, and many more that are making an absolutely fortune from what's going on as well. And this has had an impact as well on local economies and local businesses up and down the country because of the impacts on small businesses, and also hotel rooms up and down the country, where about up to 20 to 30% of the hotel rooms are unavailable because of what's been going on as well around the country. So all these issues are happening, but again, why aren't Ireland standing up for peace? The call has to be loud and clear for peace, rather than standing up on the side of more war. And with Micheal Martin's comments yesterday, this just plays into the same narrative. And then when you see The flag's being raised again. This plays into the same propaganda to keep this going as long as it takes and as long as is necessary. So we'll just stroll up, show you up around here. This is beside the International Protection Centre offices as well, up here, where there's hundreds and hundreds of tents as well, creating chaos in Ireland as well currently as we speak, as you can see. So Micheal Martin, while he'll say he continues to not waver, this is what he's pushing, more war. And this is his agenda and what Ireland are being dragged into. So all the international issues that are currently facing us are directly correlated to the local in terms of the immigration chaos. And it's so important to connect it to the local issues and to challenge the political establishment in Ireland who represent the interests of the big corporations, the multimillionaires, billionaires and the 1%, whose policies are creating chaos up and division, up and down the country. So rather than point the finger at various people, it's the political establishment in Ireland that's ultimately responsible for all these decisions. So again, thanks for all your support with my videos. Thanks for the likes, shares and comments. And thanks for everybody who supports me through buying me a coffee. I'm very grateful. And just close with a shot of that as well. So from Mount Street today, thanks for the support. Please share my videos. Please, if you're watching internationally, let me know where you're watching from. And thanks to everybody who supports me through buying me a coffee. I'm very, very grateful for everybody supporting me on that. Press subscribe to my YouTube and like to my Facebook page also. So from Dublin, take care, Slán. See you all soon. Thanks for all your support. Bye bye.